welcome to another episode of Drilling Deeper. My name is Christina and I am the Education Coordinator here at the Oil Museum of Canada. Today we're going to look at some artifacts that came into the museum's collection. This is an interesting one. It came into our possession in 2018. It comes in its own wooden box, and we do know that this came from a customs house. So it came from the customs house in Cobourg. It has some age. This artifact is over 100 years old, and we can tell that it was sent to customs by the shipping tickets that are still on the back. So when we get an artifact, we start with the outside and we work our way in. So with this, it has a key, it is locked. We have the shipping label right on here. It came from Canadian Express, which means that this came to Cobourg by rail. We can turn it around to the front and we can see that it opens up quite nicely. And inside, we have this instrument. So this is a scientific instrument. We do know that this instrument was repaired in 1895. And we can see that because they wrote it right on the inside. So let's turn this box right around here. And we'll pull the instrument out. So you'll notice that I'm wearing gloves. This is to protect the artifact. So my skin contains oils that may damage the artifact, and I don't know what's on this artifact, so in order to protect my own hands, I wear gloves. And today I'm wearing the white gloves. Historians today wear gloves that are either white cotton or we wear the blue nitrile gloves. So I'm going to carefully pull this artifact out. And we notice that there are many pieces here. There's this other little piece on the inside. So we can see this piece here. And I know because I've looked at this artifact before that one of the legs has a little lip on it. So I can actually install this piece right here on the lip and it slides in and out. Right there. So it goes underneath. So we can see that this artifact is brass. It is got a nice patina on it, which means that it has some age, and it comes with a couple different things on the inside. It comes inside these brass cases, and if we carefully open the brass case up, we can take the lid off, and we know on the inside there are thermometers. The thermometer would traditionally sit right here. So you may be asking yourself, what is this artifact? It came in a wooden box from a customs officials. It was a customs use instrument. So what would we use it for? So after some digging and when we talked to the original donor, we understand that this is a flashpoint tester. Now, a flashpoint tester is really important. It is testing the flashpoint of a chemical. So at the customs office, they would regularly receive mystery chemicals. So something like this, we don't know what this is. We suspect this may be diesel, biodiesel, or some sort of petroleum chemical. So what they would do is they would need to determine what it is. And one of those ways to do it is to test the flash point. So every substance has a flash point where the vapors of that substance will spontaneously ignite. And that's what they used to do with this. They used to use it to test for octane levels and to test the combustibility of different fluids, for how volatile they were. There was a really important reason why they did this. Back in the 1880s, people were developing kerosene and selling kerosene on the open market. It was one of the primary industries here for the Oil Museum of Canada. Everybody was harvesting the raw oil that was coming out of the ground and refining it into kerosene to sell on the open market. But like with any industry, there are certain people that are unscrupulous, scam artists, and basically bad people. What they were doing was they were adulterating the kerosene. They were adding some of the lighter ends that they had no use for to it. So they had no use for gasoline back in the 1800s. The car was not yet invented or in widespread production. So what did they do with the gasoline? They used to dump it. It was a useless product. Environmentally hazardous as well. But some of these unscrupulous dealers would add the gasoline to the kerosene. Now, what may be the problem with that, you may be asking? Well, it made the kerosene more sparky and more combustible, and it was highly volatile. So instead of having a nice flame when you lit your lamps, it would spontaneously combust and blow up and might burn your house down or cause some deathly accidents. So by the 1880s, most countries around the world where they were importing and exporting this product developed laws. And it was the jobs of the customs officers to protect the security of the people in that country. So when importers and exporters were sending these products, it was the job of the customs official to test to see if that fluid is exactly what they said it was. And if they were doctoring the kerosene, they didn't want that dangerous stuff coming into Canada or leaving, and that person would be prosecuted or their product would be confiscated. So how did they do that? Well, this instrument does it, and this instrument's been around for a very long time. We suspect that this instrument is an Abel Paskey. That company is still in production today, creating flashpoint testers. So how did they do it? Well, they would have, so let's turn this around a bit. They would have taken this bottom thing. This is essentially a Bunsen burner. So they would have filled this with kerosene and lit it. It would have then gone in here to create a flame. This canister would have been filled with water. So the Bunsen burner would heat the water. The water would have here, and there was a little spout here for the steam to come off of. It would regulate and increase the temperature of this canister. On the inside here, you would put the flammable liquid that you were testing. So I could take this substance here, this mystery substance, and I would open this up, and we can open it up very carefully, and I would fill it up to the marking on the inside. So on the inside, there is a particular line that we would fill it up to. I'd put the lid back on and secure it. The canister would heat up. The thermometer would go in to test the temperature of the water. So we would know what temperature it's at. I would have a second thermometer, one from here, inside the fluid, testing the temperature of the fluid. That's why everything is all in its own case. And this little lever right here, it would be filled with kerosene, and it would have a spark or a flame in it. So this would be lit. It would come right back in here, and everything is so finely done. It's got all of its markings. And so we would have, this is called a closed cup because it's closed. So this would have a flame on it. The temperature would increase, and I would be turning the physical state of that mystery fluid into a vapor. And at certain temperatures, I'd pull this back, and the flame would actually touch the surface of those vapors to see if there was a flash. And that would tell me what this chemical was based on the science of the day. So every fluid has its own unique flash point. A closed cup system such as this, where the cup is closed, would give me a much lower and more accurate reading. It would be less affected by drafts or other circumstances that could affect the entire structure. So this thing was highly scientific, very precise, and protected the lives of the people of Canada, which was regulated by the customs officials. And they would catch people that were adulterating the product, making little different things that was deadly to the people, all for the purpose of making money. And these regulations have been in place for hundreds of years. So the science protects the public. And this is the artifact here at the Oil Museum of Canada.